Guys, the bitch is back. Let's talk about it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We were just having some funny conversation. Guys, the stuff that you miss off air is truly entertaining. Well, we might have to talk. Yeah, Juliet, what did you just say? Come on, it's very shameless.
It is shameless. It was perfect for shameless. I was saying on my walk over here, I saw a man masturbating. In a van. On the same, so his car was parked on the side where I was walking on. So that's how close we were. We were at, Hayley and I, the same distance as this guy masturbating.
When you gotta whack off, you gotta whack off.
You gotta.
Oh my God, yeah, that's
Shameless.
insane.
Perfect for shameless.
Guys, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me at Bonjour Juliet. And I fortunately didn't post about it, but maybe next time, who knows?
You can find me at JJ Jurgens and JJ.Jurgens on Instagram.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hayley Clover. And we have some special guests with us today. We have Kasara, Antonelli, and Melinda Murray joining us. They both run the Shameless News Twitter, and they've been loyal fans of ours and the show for a long time. So we wanted to bring them in and get their perspective on everything. So welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you guys have personal Twitter accounts or anything that you want to...
I do. It's just Kasara Antonelli.
Awesome.
You can try to spell that. Good luck.
You can just find me at Shameless News.
Perfect. Yeah, we've been following you guys since we started. I've been with you for years.
Wow. Yeah, so it's fun to finally have you in here.
Yeah.
Meet you guys.
Hi.
What did you guys think about the episode?
I really liked this episode a lot, actually. Shockingly, I loved Frank in this episode. It was kind of on Frank's side, never on Frank's side, so that was new for me.
It tends to happen every
I
once in a while.
know.
How he
Yes.
gets you.
I know.
Love to hate him.
I saw some tweets like, do you actually feel sorry for Frank this time? They were asking if
A
people
little
actually had a
bit.
little, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Anytime, Monica comes into the picture, I find myself siding with Frank, and I never, ever thought that would happen, so.
I hear you. Monica is back, everybody. Oh boy, and she did exactly what we thought she was going to do. She was wreaking havoc on every single character's life today, including Frank. And we'll talk about him in a little bit because there is that heartfelt moment with him where you're kind of like, oh God, here he goes. He's gonna fall into that hole again. But yeah, I think the biggest relationship that stuck out with me today, where I'm very scared, is Monica and Debbie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Debbie dealing with the DCFS. Luckily, we see that she does get Franny back, or she gets to keep Franny, which is awesome.
But for how long?
Well, right, and that's what worries me is because Monica is now around and thinks she's helping, where do we think that relationship is going?
I'm worried. What's in that blue duffel bag? That's what I want to know.
I know.
That's true. I didn't even think about
That was
that,
a little
actually.
shady.
It
Take
was
my
very
duffel.
shady.
It's like,
Take my duffel.
why?
But that's what they say on planes. Never take someone's baggage. Just don't. Don't do it in life either.
Right.
Unless it's a present.
Probably all she has.
I know, I
And
didn't
I
even
think
think
she also had those the doctors stuff to show Frank about the tumor. So
I didn't even
thinking it
think
was just
about
everything
that. I
that
just
she
thought
owns.
Monica, evil stuff. That's all
Well,
I
she was
thought.
selling
well,
drugs last time.
yeah. I mean, there's
Remember?
probably still some other
Yeah.
bad stuff in there, but I think those are two things that might be in there.
Now, do you feel bad when you see Monica's test results and
I
see that
don't.
she's
I
dying?
don't.
I don't.
You know, my first thought was
No.
that she was lying.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't think she is, but the fact that that's my first reaction always,
Right.
like, I'm like, I don't know.
I agree with you. It's hard not to think that way when, there's somebody that's just leaving all the time
Yeah.
and never is, doing everything right. And even now, she's still wasted the entire episode. It's like...
And she's truly shameless. I feel like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
she comes
Oh,
in
yeah.
and she's the definition of she'll just pull anything that I don't think that's, something she wouldn't do.
Well, yeah, what did we
And
see? Oh, go for it.
And she's shameless in a bad way, because I think some
Absolutely.
people think with the word shameless and they automatically think it's something bad. But that's not always the case. You can be shameless about something; it can be something really good. But I think she epitomizes everything bad that you can come up with the word
Right.
and stuff.
I
Yeah.
agree, and I don't want to wish that anybody dies ever.
Oh, of course
like that.
not.
But I do believe in karma, and I do feel like this, it comes back to you. And I feel like all her
Right.
life she has not cared about anybody but herself. Even now, she could have gotten this diagnosis and been like, "Man, I've really fucked up my life and my kids and Frank, everybody," and came back and wanted to have a good hash things out, and kind
Right.
of make things good before she passes away. But again, we see her coming back and just wreaking havoc again. So she's clearly learned nothing in her entire life. So that does make me not feel sorry for her.
My first thought was that I was like, oh, good. Now the kids can finally get actual closure. I mean, that's it. That's all I could think
it's
about
very
was,
true.
because finally.
Right.
And they
It's gonna
all
be
say,
over for them.
why did you come back? Like, why did you have to come back?
Yeah.
They get to a point where they're finally over it, or they've forgotten about her enough to where they can kind of move on. And now here she is again. And I think we see that a lot with Ian
Absolutely.
today, especially when he makes that comment, oh, he gets a little wound up just like his mother. I was like,
Yeah.
no!
Oh.
Don't compare them.
Oh my gosh, because he is fine right now. He's great. He has the right medication. He's been doing awesome at work. Like, that just was like, no, don't say that.
Also, in that moment, we all cringed when Trevor was also like, "Oh, come on, you apologize."
yeah.
It was like,
Who
wait,
do you
you don't
think you
even
are?
know.
So I did want to talk about that a lot because I said something to the TV, and I was like, oh, Trevor, shut the hell up.
Right? Like, you don't know what you're
I
talking
was
about.
so frustrated.
I know.
And I also, we've been saying that he's very
He snaps.
patient.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people have been saying, well, our fans, a lot
Sorry.
of people
I was going to that too.
No.
No, not like that. A lot of people have been saying that he's patient with Ian learning about his transgender friends and him and the whole situation.
I disagree.
And I was going to say, I know you disagree, and it's you can tell that today that he freaked out, in my opinion, for no reason. I mean, it's one of those things that he wasn't explaining himself right away when he was trying to figure out why we weren't.
It seemed like it was for something else. If he had just come out and said that, I think it would have been a totally different situation.
Well, because all of a sudden I was like, oh God, the kid's 17.
Right.
We're gonna take it down this road.
Yeah.
And then I finally realized, oh, he was still, a girl when he was in this picture, and he doesn't want to show anyone that, pre-transition picture. But did you think he freaked out? Because I was like,
Totally
that's
thought
he
he
freaked
freaked
out.
I think, I don't know. I kind of thought that whole scene kind of showed where both of them don't actually know everything that's behind what they're feeling and stuff. So Ian can be like, you don't know, and Trevor's gonna be like, well, of course not. And then Trevor can be like, well, you don't know, and Ian's like, well, of course not, because we don't know each other like that just yet.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
stuff. So for me, it was kind of like, it was just put a big emphasis on they don't actually know each other enough, that they're still in the pre-dating Goo Eyes phase where you don't really, it's all surface level stuff.
Right.
It's not, none of it's really deep. So I kind of let them slacked off. I'm like, all right, I'll give it both to you.
I think it was a good moment, though, to at
It
least
was.
show some of the things. Like, I hadn't thought about that at first, that his license would be him, pre-transition. So that was kind of cool to show things that,
Situations you might not even think
right,
would
you don't
happen.
normally even think about. And so I really liked that aspect of showing, like, some of the struggles that we don't normally just assume.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think he overreacted in the sense of that Ian didn't understand what would have been the issue, which so
It's all a communication thing.
Yeah.
And, I did like towards the end of their storyline, Trevor actually stayed and had a drink with Monica that night, which we find out and realized, it wasn't much of a good time.
Right.
So he understands now where Ian is coming from.
I thought he was gonna tell him like, "Oh, she's sick." I was wondering during that conversation.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
interesting.
because what else would they talk about? Or she'll just go on a rant. I just wish they had.
I
had more
imagine she was
insight
just
into
a
that.
drunk
Yeah.
rant.
Yeah.
And they were just.
I wonder how much she told him about Ian, though, when he said, we talked about
wouldn't-
you. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any skeletons in this closet that
I
Monica
would
was
imagine
coming
not
up with.
much. She doesn't
Right.
seem like she's one of those people who actually really cares all that much about what goes on in her kid's life.
Or retains
Unless it
Or-
pertains to her. So
That, or she brags about. I mean, every time she meets someone, oh my gorgeous son, this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
she could have just literally been bragging about anything she could have remembered about him
Well,
or
that-
his childhood.
Fiona moment, and she was like, "Oh, you're doing this. The other one's doing this. I must have done something right." And you can see
Yeah.
Fiona's face. It's just like,
Right, like you didn't do
didn't do
anything.
anything.
She gives her that compliment and then takes it like right back.
Yeah. Despite they were able to conquer all these things, and despite the way she raised them,
Yeah.
she didn't do anything right.
So Fiona and Lit make a really funny bet today. Bet $20 that Fiona she thinks she's not going to freak out at some point because of Monica being back, and he's like, you're absolutely going to have a meltdown.
Boy, she did. At first I was
loving
like, oh,
it.
okay, wow,
was
wow.
awesome.
And then it was just, when you thought she was done, nope, she was not. Do not mess with Fiona. I love that.
I really loved her today because she hasn't been my
Southside
favorite. Chick. Yes, she hasn't been my totally favorite character this season, and this was like Fiona, and I was like, yes. So she, we see the laundromat. It's actually looking really great.
Looks great.
Edda has bought the TV, the new laundry machines, and she's like, oh great, I told them we should have done this a long time ago. I mean, she's just out of it,
Right.
and. Everything looks good. They made a profit of 30-some cents. So that's all great, but they've started to Yelp, and they've started this Yelp account for, the business. And one girl, Jessie, writes this terrible review and, calls her out for being pretty much trash and like whatever. And
Puts a burger on her.
And then she sees her at Patsy's. Here's my question always, is when we see these people down here and she's, we're supposed to think she's affluent and probably has money. Why is she down at Patsy's?
Right.
Eating a burger?
Right.
That is always my thought.
Right. That's another thing. She did the hipster thing too.
Yeah, true.
So maybe she's just, it's her first apart. I don't know.
She
probably
thinks it's cool to.
Yeah.
That outfit was not
they were
hipsterish.
No.
My brother's a hipster, and that was not a hipster.
Like what you said with the lesbians and stuff, they were trying to gentrify the neighborhood.
Well,
so,
right,
so
that's
just,
true.
I think there are different types of people coming in.
Yeah,
so
she probably got a new apartment out there.
Right.
Yeah.
She looked it up on Yelp, and it was like it had those cool parties and whatever. So yeah, that's true. She was going to try it.
I love that Fiona's, all of her workers, though, were like, had her back.
Yeah.
Like, they come over, they're like, she's here.
It's amazing.
Love that.
So Fiona sits right down and says, oh, did you write a Yelp review about Wendell's across the street? And she was like, the girl was so nervous. It was amazing.
Of course.
And then she's like, so that gives me the right to
Review
bring
you.
it right back, review you. Oh my God. Did anybody write down the stuff that she was saying
I just had to just enjoy it.
Yeah, I was just loving that.
So freaking good.
And
then
who takes the time unless my thing with Yelp reviews is just if there's some sanitary reason, like you should warn people. But
I
if
got
not, like,
sick.
why,
It was terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you take time out of your day to be like?
The
Why do you need
best
negative
was when
energy?
they read her description and it said Yelping since 2009 because those people are real. Like if you look at Yelp reviews where they're like serial Yelpers and it's always bad and you can tell like nothing is ever good enough and it says stuff like that, like been on Yelp since 2007, like always reviewing the spots you need to know. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah,
Someone's got to do it.
that was so funny. Took her burger, rubbed it all over her chest.
I've wanted to do that.
Yeah,
I really have.
Right?
I
Oh,
wanted to
absolutely.
do that. I've just wanted to be like,
Because I'm like, why? Like, what did this do for you?
exactly.
Yeah. Well, even I like to read the Yelp reviews at the business I work at, and a lot of it too. The person is so wrong with what they're saying, and that's usually what's funny is they have like, or they talk to you on the phone for like 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden this review came out of nowhere, and you're like, how does that even happen? But yeah, that was amazing. And then we see Fiona hand Lip $20 when she gets back to the house, and it's just like, I don't want to talk about it. But it was amazing. It was amazing. Okay. Speaking of Lip, let's talk about him.
Oh, Lip.
Yeah, Kasara, I know in the beginning you said I have all of the Lip feels.
I do. And he's such a struggle for me because every season I go back and forth between like just hating him and loving him and hating him and loving him. And I feel like this whole this alcoholism arc with him really gets to me because I'm like, he's sort of past his mark of when he was expected to kind
accomplish.
Yeah, or, everyone had their thing, the fallout from Frank and Monica, and then they kind of are like moving past it now, and Lip hasn't yet, and so it's almost like they're over it. So I'm like, oh, he still needs help though. But he can be such an asshole. So I don't know. He just breaks my heart sometimes.
Yeah, it's tough because, Professor Ewens is calling him, still trying to help him. I mean, he's giving him another...
Professor Ewens.
Love
though.
him. Love him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that man.
He has an internship interview. It's a paid internship this time, so he can stop washing dishes. It's at this hedge fund, and, it's another startup, but it's a great opportunity. But he had to get up super early because they needed to be on Wall Street time, and Lip just... Totally missed
Drink
it.
the day before and didn't get up.
And then drank when he saw that he missed the
Right,
interview.
yeah.
That one grossed me out. I was kind of like, oh.
And
I
don't
mean, I
party
know
before
it's,
a big
it's an
test.
issue. I know, but it's...
And it's hard because I feel like that scene too, once he missed it, he's like, well, why should I get up now? I'm like, oh God, it's just this terrible cycle that I'm like, oh my God, someone's gonna, which is why I loved Sierra in this episode so much.
Yes,
yeah.
me too.
I love her this season. Obviously she's new to this season, but I just love her. I think she's such a great character, especially in contrast to Lip.
If I can start a petition for Ruby Modine to come back next season, I will.
She was an awesome person
Yeah.
in person too. Not as her character. She was just really, really cool too.
She said everything I
that.
wanted
Oh,
Lip
yeah.
to hear in the whole series. This is like the scene that I've been waiting for was when she called him
Yeah,
out.
she went off. She told him right off, and he needed it so much. But do you think he retains it? Do you think he heard any of that?
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
think he does, but and I think for Lip, it's like he hears everything that everybody is saying, and he's in such a place where he's like stuck because he doesn't know where he's just like stuck. He doesn't know where to go or what to do, and he doesn't want to be Frank. But it's almost scary to go and do something completely different and not. So I kind of think with Lip, it's been building since season 1. Like everything was there to get us to where he's at right now.
Yeah.
Even if we wanted to see it or not, it's always been there.
Right.
And I think now I think he's scared.
He's arguably been the most consistent character since season 1.
For sure. And I think now it's a matter of fear of failing again.
Yeah.
It's like he was the one sibling that was expected to help them out. I mean, as much as maybe they don't say it outright, or Fiona is saying that she's gonna help the family too, which is awesome. They always thought he was gonna make money and eventually help the family, and that kind of pressure eventually breaks a person.
Yeah. And he always comes back to that. That's always one of his defenses, I think. You expect me because of his smarts or to make the money. It's always down to money too.
Right.
Which
Go ahead.
But it's constant self-sabotage with him.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's almost
Absolutely.
like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
fear of failure. It's also fear of success.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't know what to do.
Well,
if he,
right. I mean, he probably thinks, same the opposite way. I'm from the south side of Chicago. This is my dad, this is my mom. How in the hell am I supposed to, ever make it at this hedge fund or,
Right.
And
whatever.
it can't help that he sees Frank, who is this absolutely brilliant person. And like you heard back in like the first couple of seasons where you'd get sprinkles of a Frank that was not like that, and he was better and he was cleaner and he was, just all around. He could have gone
So
miles. He could have gone so far, and then he ends up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I imagine he looks at Frank. He's like, oh my God, that could be me. That is me. I'm gonna be him, and that's
Yeah, but at a certain point, I think also, you can only blame
true.
your parents for
True.
so long for.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, eventually he's gonna have to take his life into his own hands, which is
Right.
what you were saying about the self-sabotage.
Yep.
The hard part for me is Lip has these like lucid moments throughout the show. Like we see him grab a Coke out of
which
the
is why I go
refrigerator
back and forth.
instead of grabbing a beer, or like things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, no. But it's weird. It's like, why does he make that decision one time and then sabotage the next opportunity or whatever the next day?
Yeah,
It's
I think
hard.
in that one though, he's like trying to look in front of Fiona,
I
like he's
agree.
not drinking. He's just been drinking all day long. We see it in his coffee. We see him at the bar. We see it.
Her
so I
comment
think-
too about
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah,
you're
drinking
drinking
Coke
Coke at the alibi. Yeah.
So I think he's like wants to put on this, facade of that I'm.
That's why I loved her comment. She's like, "Oh, did you drink a Coke at the alibi?"
Right.
Because
Yeah.
she has
She's
eyes
not an idiot,
everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
And she's not dumb. Yeah, she's
Right.
been there.
Exactly.
She lives through Frank and Monica. She knows all the signs.
Oh, that's so true.
Debbie and Mom.
Oh.
I know. Well, we'll have to see. We can predict about Lip. It's so hard because I hope that he turns it around, but I don't know. Like we said, somebody's got to
Yeah.
eventually. They all can end up perfect, or else it wouldn't be Shameless.
Right.
True.
What about the thruple?
Oh God. I love Kevin so much. I do. I just love him so much.
By the way, he is totally Kevin in person. He's not. He's not
is.
like. He's not dumb in any way. And Kevin has those like moments where he says something like,
Right.
like the snake eating its tail all day today. How he's pronouncing that wrong, but he is so funny in person.
He's great. He really
Yeah,
is.
he's a great guy.
Yeah. So Kev v. Svetlana. We were right, JJ.
We did call that
I'm
one.
gonna say that we were right on that one. We
Yep.
both were worried about Svetlana doing something super shady, and right at the end, there it is. So they're going to counseling. Kev called Steve Harvey because Maury Povich was too far. That was so funny. But they gave them the name of a couples counselor, which is even funnier. And they go and talk it out, and it ends up making Kev feel a lot better.
Right.
For the moment. And
It was sad to hear him say that he was afraid that Veronica loved Svetlana more than him.
Oh, I
That kind of broke my heart a little.
well, we had said that's and he had said that, but we were like, yeah, she might.
She might.
Kind of felt like that a little bit.
Yeah, it did feel like that.
And then I think that shocked her a little bit too.
Right.
During that counseling session, but. Even more shocking, all of a sudden their distributor of their alcohol has changed, and they're like, wait, where's our guy? We liked our guy.
Right.
And Svetlana's like, they changed the pricing, I changed the distributor, I own bar now.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, no.
And such a divide when they were in the counseling too, because she was completely on the other side of the
Oh,
couch,
yeah.
shoulders turned. I mean, the body language was so
The sunglasses.
like, F you kind of.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I knew it was not going to be good.
No, and I can't say I'm surprised, honestly.
No.
Oh, yeah, no.
Not at
no.
all.
Not at all. That whole couple, you could tell, okay, she doesn't show love like others, but it was more a thing of survival. And even when she was telling Debbie, like, you need to find someone to take care of you, that's what she does.
She's like Frank in a way, just not as much of a
Alcoholic.
drug addict
Yeah.
or
Right.
alcoholic. She finds the opportunity for herself in every situation. And it's gotten to a point now where she knows the finances. She knows they're not watching her
She's
switch
smart.
contracts
She's
or
conniving.
sign
She's
contracts.
smart.
Actually brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
she is. She's brilliant. And if she had done this to anybody else but Kevin B, I'd totally be on team Svetlana. I would. I'd be like, you go, girl. This is amazing. But,
Right.
you hurt Kevin B, and that's just a no.
Right.
Yeah.
That's no. You got to go now.
I know. It's always so hard when I see anything bad happen to those two because they've always been one of my favorite couples. Even Kev sleeping on the couch at the beginning of this episode, I'm like, go home.
Right.
And everyone's shocked about it. Monica, everyone, they're like, you're sleeping here?
Yeah.
They never expect him to be sleeping on the couch because they're such a rock. So
Right.
hopefully we'll see them go back to that point sometime soon. I really hope so, before the end of the
so.
season.
What do we think happens with Svetlana next?
I don't know.
Do you think they immediately are like throuple done? But now she's adopted their children.
No, definitely not. Yeah, because of that aspect too, for sure.
I don't think they know where to go. I mean, I really don't. I think
Do
they're
they go
kinda
back to
stuck.
couples
Like, I don't
therapy?
think they know how to handle it.
I'm gonna go with I think that they are throuple done. I think they're gonna, but I think they
Oh,
have
yeah.
to manipulate it like how they can do it legally without.
Well, they've got to be smart now.
Yeah, so I
Very
think
smart in a
that's
way
how
to
they're
get
gonna-
their kids
Oh, yeah.
and bar back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they could end up losing everything if
Everything,
they don't
yeah.
do it.
Right.
And that would just be terrible.
Oh God, that would be awful. Because I said that last week that something was going to happen with the kids, and that because that adoption was always weird to me, and
yeah.
I really hope that's not the case.
Also, I mean, she had that moment. I don't even remember what season it was. It might have been last season. The moment with Fiona where she said, I started here and now I'm here, and the whole building her way up. But it's been a very fast climb for her as far as in the past season.
Right.
And then we
Yeah.
saw, for so many seasons, Kevin V, work at the bar and get enough money to pay for it and
Right.
to keep it going. And then to feel like it was taken from them so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it is. It's heartbreaking. Oh, it's awful. Well, yeah, we're gonna have to. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. But let's talk about Frank in the meantime with good old Etta.
There's some sweet moments in there.
Etta's hysterical. Still,
Edda's
we've
so
been saying
funny.
it since.
So funny.
But she's hilarious, especially when she has her lucid moments and she's like, Wendell's dead. I mean, you're not Wendell. I don't know you. And she just gets up and leaves. Nothing ever bothers her, though, if you've noticed.
Right, she just realizes it.
Right. It's like she was at dinner with a random person. She's like, I don't know you. And just gets up and leaves. It's amazing.
I wonder if he took anything from her purse when she left it. I mean,
I think he just
or
paid
returned
for
it.
dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There again, I was
Very unfrank-like. Very unfrank-like.
actually I disagree because it was very Frank-like in the sense where he got every benefit from it, and I think
Yeah.
he just enjoys being loved, and he never gets loved, and so it's
I
like,
So
think when he's
true.
comfortable, he has a bed, he has a place to stay, and now
She
he's
adores
eating.
him.
He
Right.
doesn't need to steal
Yeah.
anything else at this point.
And
That's true.
he also
Yeah.
said kind heart, which I thought really weirdly endearing because Frank always finds someone to take care of, which isn't his family, of course, but
Right.
it's interesting that every person he gets something out of is because he's a caretaker in the situation, which is super
It was really
that is
sweet.
contradictory.
When she comes down with all the makeup and Fiona's like, you're not going to let him go out like that. He goes, no, she looks beautiful.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's so twisted but so sweet.
You know he doesn't have pure intentions, but at the same time you're like, oh, it's kind of nice.
Right.
You know?
No one else is doing that for
Yeah.
her. Even though
Yeah.
Fiona's taking care of her. Like, she's busy with other things.
And who cares at this point? Let her grow out however
right?
the hell she
Right,
wants.
yeah.
Having fun.
Right.
Having fun and she's being taken care of. I think it's sweet, and we'll see what comes.
And then he brought her leftovers. He could have easily ate the food. He was like, I brought your purse and your leftovers. Yeah. I felt really bad for him, actually, though, with the Monica situation.
Yeah.
Monica is throwing things at their windows, breaking stuff, trying to find him everywhere so that she can finally talk to him. And he finally breaks down, which you knew was going to happen
yeah.
eventually.
God, did that just like, you're just like, oh.
But when he was kind of yelling, like, why did you have to come back? Like, that was very genuine to me. And
Oh, yeah.
felt like he almost was like, I'm doing better now, and now you're here again.
Yeah.
Like,
Just like the kids. They're
Yeah.
all in the same.
He's almost on the same level as the kids in
Oh, yeah.
regards to her,
Right.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
I think you can safely argue that Monica is the love of Frank's life and also the bane of his existence.
Yeah.
Definitely.
for sure. Oh, you know what? I was just looking at my notes and I forgot the little moment between Frank and Etta when he said there was a lot of passion last night, and she said, "Was I any good?" That was so funny. Not to deviate from Monica and everything, but that was hysterical. I think what we see now with the previews from next week that Frank and Monica are now up to no good. It's
course.
back to the regular relationship.
Do we
with-
expect
Yeah.
anything less?
But it never
I mean,
lasts.
no.
Yeah. It can't
Yeah.
last.
Well, yeah, and it's like how long until she leaves? I give it 1, 2
dies.
episodes
So
or
I think
dies.
this is
Yeah.
money to try to get her treatment. What do you think their goal
Yeah,
is
like
here?
what is her? Because she never comes
her
back.
last hurrah.
Yeah.
I mean,
know,
Bonnie
I
and
would-
Clyde.
yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde. I'm telling you,
Exactly.
they got the guns. They got that twisted love story.
I actually
Bonnie
wouldn't
and
be
Clyde,
surprised if in some twisted way she actually did come back for the kids and she's trying to like set them up, or in her own Monica way she's came
You think
back
she's
to
somehow
us
like
money.
that duffel bag is filled with cash?
Filled with cash,
like,
right?
or somehow has money
If only.
from like we would never expect it, but
Well, she
somehow
used to sell
has
drugs.
something, and she saved all that money. Like that would be
and she did make
Crazy to
that
me, but-
comment that she had plans to set the kids up, so I
Right.
kind of wondered that in her own weird way that she's just
how much
she
does
is
that
back
screw
for
up
them.
the kids?
Oh,
Right.
God.
Like all of a sudden, at the end, they're like, "Great, this is money, but you really have cared the whole time, and so you saved this." And now you're like, "Oh, my god.
Yeah.
That would be even crazier."
It would be. I love that she always gets out of a truck. Like, I love when she
I
walks
know,
around, she's
right?
like, coming out of a new truck. I'm like, yes. It's got to be
Didn't
Monica.
even think about that. She does always show up in a truck. Yeah.
I
oh,
will
God.
say any excuse to see Chloe Webb and
Oh, she's
William H.
great.
Macy together in a scene is just a good excuse for me because they are electric together. It's insane.
They are. She's
are,
amazing.
yeah.
Think about having to act drunk.
It's
that
hard.
long.
Yeah.
She slurs her words properly. Like you can do that, but you know what I mean. Like
No, it's true,
It's
though.
perfect.
Because people, it's really hard to be realistic in that because you don't know what you're like when you're drunk. Or, I mean, you just see other people, but it's hard to really portray it for an extended period of time.
I know. I wonder how much research she did, or how much like if she ever went to a
Practice.
bar and just watched.
Seriously.
people watch how much drinking
Yeah.
she did and taping herself even. You know, like maybe that is her when
Talking
she's
to
drunk.
herself.
Yeah. Oh, she'd be a fun one to have on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I guess we'll see. As much as she was crazy and probably not helping Debs when she was breaking all the windows, I was kind of like, F yes. Like,
She did get her back. She
Right?
did get Brandy back. I mean, not really. Like, Debbie stole her in the midst of
Right.
that, but
I was glad the DCFS lady told the other grandma and daughter off too. Like, you can't kidnap a baby.
Yeah.
How they ever thought that was okay?
Because
Was
we
like,
kept yelling that at them. We're like, yeah, why don't they call the cop? Like, this is not
and I did like
legal.
that Debbie finally said we
Like-
did call the cops like 8 times. They don't care.
Yeah.
Because I was still confused as to why they hadn't done that before.
I gotta say, unpopular opinion here. I wish they had been able to keep her.
really.
You don't want
Yeah.
Debbie to have.
Yeah.
baby?
It's not that, but it is that. I just I don't know. So
You think
far,
Debbie would be better off, but you still feel bad.
I don't think that as of yet that the reality of what it means to be a mom has hit her.
Oh, of course.
Like
yeah.
for
I don't
her
think
right
so
now,
either.
it's still all about the cosmetics of it and stuff. But the reality of being a mom, I don't think that's hit her.
I think it hit
disagree.
her more today when she was sleeping on the lawn. I think old Debbie would have went home and just like came back the next day and tried to figure it out. She's still pumping,
That was
trying
sad.
to give
That
give
made me,
breast
yeah.
milk. And then when she was holding her at night and wasn't able to sleep because she thought that she was going to be taken away at any moment. I saw more of a motherly side of Debbie now than I ever have.
Yeah, agree. But yet she's still off, just how she's packing up Sierra's stuff and put it in boxes.
Well,
and
she's
she
still
flips back to this attitude
mature
of like,
teenager. Right. That's true. That sucked, by the way. I was like, you cannot throw her out of this house, and now she's in that awful apartment,
Yeah.
which, by the way,
Over a
has the
crack house.
same oven that my apartment has. Oh, yeah. It's a piece of crap. Yeah, what are you going to do? Is there anything else? Oh, duh. Well, I'm sorry. There is definitely something else. We get a little visit at the end of the show from the FBI asking for Ian. And because we've teased and we knew that Mickey was coming back, we knew that it was something, with him. Oh, Mickey has escaped people.
I'm so into it. I'm so into it. I love Mickey. And not as, like crazy, like, Mickey and Ian have to end up together. I mean, I would like that. But I just love, like, his character. He adds
He's an amazing actor.
Such a charisma to the show that, has, in a way, been gone since he's not been there. So I'm really excited to see what happens with him coming back.
Me too. I can't wait to see him with Ian, and I love it. I love their little trailer at the end.
Yeah.
Why is Ian being kidnapped?
It's so.
But to go see him just because he can't come out, obviously, of hiding.
I think Mickey hired
Why
these
do they have
people.
to kidnap him?
Who did he get involved with? Like, who did he hire to get? So I'm
He's
excited.
been in prison. I mean,
It's
he's
true.
probably got
That's
mad at
true.
people.
This is Mickey we're talking about. That man, he makes friends and stuff everywhere.
I have
not
expected-
friends, business acquaintances. He
Yeah.
makes them everywhere.
Because he had to get people to
Or it
break
could
him
be
out.
his brothers.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So
There's so many
Yeah,
Milkovich brothers running
Well, that's
around.
true. He had a crazy family.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to see him back. Every guest that we've had on the show has said the same thing about him as an actor in general. That
Incredible.
he is by far one of the best actors they've ever met. That he's like the most talented guy ever, and so they were not surprised that he left the show for the time he did to do other work.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that we get to have him back
Yeah, I'm excited.
for the
I wanna
period of
see.
time.
I have
Hopefully
to
it's
say,
not
he's
too
one of my
short.
favorite interviews that we've done. He's like top 3.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's so neat.
And
I'm
stuff.
excited to see him interact with Trevor. If that hopefully
Yeah. Good
because
point.
he's how as we know him, kind of small-minded and very ruggish, and so it's very interesting.
Right.
He's definitely gonna
Well,
make
and
some
Mickey
comments.
will not react well.
He
No.
will.
to that relationship.
No.
He wouldn't react well to anyone that Ian's with.
Absolutely not.
So
yeah.
With this situation, I know I can't wait. He's gonna flip out. So
Yeah, I don't
there's
think
so much
Mickey
more to
would
come.
care that Trevor's trans. I think he'll just care.
Anyone.
No.
yeah, just that he's with Ian. Yeah.
No.
do we have any big predictions, or did we kind of talk about? You have one? Okay, let's do some predictions. We have fun lights.
your AfterBuzz
Music
TV
sometimes.
predictions.
No lights today.
We got music. You go. What do
Juliet, you had one. Go for
I
it,
have
girl.
one. Okay, so what I predict is I think we're finally gonna get our Fiona and V friendship reunited together.
Yes.
That's gonna.
I
it
need
has-
you to be right.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it has to happen. It's been such a long time. Like we need to see them together, and the way that's gonna happen is we gotta fight some slut on a ass.
Good. I would
I like
like
that
seeing
one
a big
too,
fight.
yeah.
She's feisty though. I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
the
she is
one, you know,
feisty. She
no
can
matter
definitely
you don't
fight.
mess with their own, and I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna even have a conversation. I think they're gonna push
just
everything
know.
aside. And it's like, their family. That's what. Anything happens sometimes with someone that's that close to you, and even though you have a falling out, you'll always be there for them, and that's how they are to each other. So,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Do you guys have any predictions for next week or the rest of the season?
That's hard.
Yeah,
It is. We never have any.
I don't actually know.
That's hard.
I don't know if I have any predictions necessarily, but I'm really excited to see how these. Like, I'm really excited for Mickey to come back.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Me
excited
too.
to
Oh,
see
who
how,
isn't? I mean, if
how
you're not
he
excited,
interacts with
I worry about you.
everyone. I wonder if he'll interact like him and Svetlana too. If that will.
I don't think he will.
end
I
up-
think it'll just be him and Ian. I
Yeah.
don't really think he'll interact with anybody
Yeah, I don't even know
else.
if he'll come back necessarily to. This
Well,
outside,
right.
really.
He can't.
Right.
Because now they're
Yeah.
kind of watching everywhere.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether the FBI somehow ends up using Ian in this whole situation with Mickey, which would be terrible to see him have
yeah.
to turn
Oh,
on Mickey. I
absolutely.
mean, that would totally tear our fans apart. I know too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would be bad.
That would just feel so bad.
Yes. So I don't know. We'll see.
I have to say, I kind of predict that. Now that might be just me wanting. I really hope that somebody just puts Debbie in her place right now, because she is just so unlikable. And it kind of reminds me of like, I don't think I was unlikable at 15, 16, however old she is either. So I'm just like, girl, just calm down a little bit. You'll be so much funner and to be around when you're like 23.
Yeah, she's got a lot of growing up and learning to do. But
She's definitely, I agree with that. She's definitely molding herself into being a bad adult and an unlikable adult, and the way she treats people around her is just, it's going to come back and bite her in the ass.
And she used to not be like that. She used to be, I mean, she still did things Debbie's way, and
she's had to survive a little bit
sweet.
more now, though. It is kind of her survival less little.
I agree. But she's just obnoxious sometimes when she talks to Sierra, all that. It's gonna,
I mean, everything she's kind of done since she purposely got knocked up, is kind of.
Well, again, we forget that, like, she
did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She did. I mean, that whole interaction too was, how can you do that? But like she did, but she tricked him. She did. She totally
did.
I know.
Unfortunately, I know people like that too.
I am definitely not trying to knock that out. No, for sure. Not for like another 10 years. Guys, thanks for coming in. It was a lot of fun.
Having us.
And thanks for always commenting and with us on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Where can they find you again on social media so they can follow Shameless News?
We're at Shameless News. It's a
it's a great account.
They're right on the news.
It has Shameless News. If you want it, they're the people to follow.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
JJ.
search for us on Twitter. Well, you can search Shameless and it'll still come up with
Oh,
us,
perfect.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
JJ, where can I
You
find
guys
you?
can follow me at JJ Jurgens on Twitter and JJ.Jurgens on Instagram.
Awesome. You can find me at Bonjour Juliet, and make sure to watch The Tomorrow Show Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hayley Clover. Don't forget to comment along on YouTube. You guys are always great about that. We will comment with you. We only have a couple episodes left.
Getting near the end.
So stick with us. We'll be back next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.